G'day guys, Seeney here. Welcome to another episode on the Australian Wealth channel, and in this episode we are talking about my 3 highest conviction stocks. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps to get these videos out to more people. As you can see, the settings a little bit differently. I decided for whatever reason to film in another room in my house. Now, we're talking in this video about my 3 highest conviction stocks. So these are the stocks that I believe in the most. So I'm going to be laying out a lot of information about these stocks. Obviously, when you're investing, you need to do your own research and make your own decisions. Don't just take it from one YouTube channel. There's so many different sources that you can collect information from. But these are the 3 stocks that I feel the best about going forward that are going to generate the best returns for me. One thing that you'll notice when I'm talking about these particular 3 companies is you'll notice that they're all small to mid-cap stocks. Now, the reason for that is that at this point in the stock market, there seems to be a real divergence between the large cap stocks and the small cap to mid cap stocks. The large cap stocks tend to be quite expensive at the moment. So as a result of that, I'm seeing a lot more deals in the small to mid cap space. So that's something to keep in mind is not only do you need to take into account the company, but also broader market conditions. And that way you might be able to find yourself an even better deal. So the first stock that I want to talk about is, of course, Voyager Digital. Now, Voyager Digital is a crypto brokerage that is also looking to expand to doing stocks as well over the medium to long term. Now, the reason that I really like Voyager Digital is because of how quickly it is growing. It was only like a year or 2 ago, this company was literally nothing. They were doing very small amounts of revenue. I think it was like $2 million in revenue one year. All the way up into the near future, they're doing $60 million in revenue, which is a fantastic number. So they're projected to continue to grow this. We're looking at about $100 million plus potentially for this next quarter in revenue. So the growth rate is just absolutely phenomenal. And for whatever reason, the stock is trading incredibly cheaply. And I'm sure there's a few reasons behind this. One being that is quite a risky investment. This is a small market cap company. This is a company that is under $2 billion in market cap, which in the stock market is very small. So obviously when a company is that new, there's a lot of risk that goes along with that. So as a result, Voyager is trading quite cheap, but we are seeing some insane growth from this company. There's a great management team with Stephen Ehrlich. He's the CEO, and he's worked in capital markets for a very long time, for over 25 years. The company's grown their assets from $5 million to well over hundreds of millions of dollars in the space of just over a year. So we're talking about insanely exponential growth. And this is one of the reasons why Voyager is such a great stock, personally for me. If we extrapolate last quarter's results out of doing, I believe, $30 million in profits, it was 50% margin from that $60 million revenue figure. If we extrapolate that out and say they don't grow at all and they continue to do that, that's about $120 million in profits. And for a company that has a market cap of under $2 billion, that's pretty remarkable considering the speed of growth, because I personally believe it's not going to stay the same. We're going to see some growth. And as we've seen, the crypto markets also are reaching all-time highs, especially when we're looking at Bitcoin and Ethereum. This is a company that just has a great platform for investing, so I feel pretty confident about this one going forward. So I've actually loaded a lot into this position. I'm up to about $23,000, $25,000 into this position. I'd said I'd be happy to add to about $30,000. So if Voyager continues to go down, then I'm going to continue to buy. My next highest conviction stock is, of course, the Tattooed Chef. Now, Tattooed Chef is a company that does plant-based meals, and they've been going for a little while now, and Sam Galletti has actually been in the food business for over 30 years. He's the CEO of the company, and what we're seeing is that Tattooed Chef is growing at an incredibly fast rate. We're seeing revenue growth of about 45% across their entire brand, and their branded revenue is up 65%. So these are the real deal. These are the packaged meals that you'd see in Walmart, Sam's Club. Costco, you know, they're in so many different chains. In fact, they've actually increased the amount of stores that they thought they were going to be in, which is fantastic. So they're ticking off the goals and they're executing fantastically. And you know, there's going to be a bit more of a movement over the next 5 to 10 years in regards to the plant-based movement. Now, the reason for that is because there's going to be a lot of pressure, I believe, from the governments all around the world about global warming and climate change and things like that. And I think one of the things that's going to be in the crosshairs is going to be our diets. As we know, eating a lot of meat is not so good for the environment because cows produce a lot of methane, which is not good for the environment. You know, personally, I love eating meat, and I'm going to be eating meat until the day that I die. But we need to look at some of the existential factors from outside the company that are going to be pushing the world in a certain direction. And I think that the plant-based movement is going to be one that is going to continue to grow at an incredibly rapid rate as our diets continue to change. I mean, it's already happening. The company is growing massively and the space is growing massively. And that's something that I look for when I'm investing in a company. So Tattooed Chef is making all the right moves. Personally, I believe, you know, they're executing really well. They're buying up businesses, they're growing their revenue, all steps in the right direction. You know, there are some headwinds there, especially with inflation and some of the costs of shipping going up, but it is anticipated that that will stabilize at some point. And Tattooed Chef being vertically integrated means that they're going to be able to mitigate most of these factors. And my third highest conviction stock that I have in this video is in fact Coinbase. Now, Coinbase is of course another crypto brokerage that is growing also at an incredibly fast rate. It is a much bigger company than Voyager, the one I mentioned before. But the thing with Coinbase is that it is the #1 player in the crypto brokerage space. They're doing more volume than pretty much any other exchange, and they have built themselves as the place that is going to be the safest place to invest in cryptocurrencies. So I don't really understand the inner workings of cryptocurrency and how you would create those things, but the thing that I do understand is people. And people are always wanting to move onto the newest and the latest technology. And I know that people want to find the next coin. So I'm happy to be buying a company that is selling the shovel for those people. It's an analogy that I've used before because I don't know what's going to win in that particular space, but the company is going to continue to grow as the space gets more and more popular. They're getting more and more institutions onto the platform. And when that happens, it means there is significant buying volume. And that is, of course, how Coinbase makes their money. There's also a lot of other catalysts with Coinbase that are going to help it to continue to grow even bigger. They're setting up their own NFT marketplace to rival some of the other NFT marketplaces that are out there. And of course, with such a big company, you know, they have such a customer base to draw on, which will draw people into that marketplace. So there's a lot of room for growth still for Coinbase, and with the stock beaten down as much as it was around that $220 mark, that was the point where I thought it was going to be a really great deal. So I started buying that up quite heavily. And now we're in a position where we're up about 34% on Coinbase. The stock at the moment is trading around $300 a share. I personally believe that's going to continue. You know, we might see that up around the $400 to $500, where it was looking like it was going to be around there for a little while when it first IPO'd. But of course, there was a lot of selling pressure. But I think over time that's going to continue. The company's going to continue to grow. And of course, when it comes to companies that are in the financial services, the margins are just excellent. And Coinbase is no different. So a lot of that revenue that the company is getting, it's going straight to the bottom line, which is fantastic. And that's why it's a stock that I have very high conviction over. And I have a bonus stock for those people that made it all the way through to the end of this video. And this is a stock that I'm actually watching at the moment, which I'm really interested. Might be a good deal at this point now. It's not a small cap, it's not a mid cap, it's actually a large cap stock that has been beaten down quite significantly from its all-time highs, but it's still an absolute profit beast. It has one of the best balance sheets in the entire stock market, but it's one that I'm looking at the moment because the valuation has come down quite significantly, and that is Facebook. Now, Facebook stock over the last little while has been whacked again for a multitude of reasons. You know, there's a bit of conspiracy going on that, you know, the mainstream media likes to attack Facebook because it's taking dollars away from people advertising on their particular platforms. Because as we we all know, Facebook is a place that just generates so much money off advertising. So anytime there's anything slightly negative about Facebook, the mainstream media is on it, and they're attacking their competition basically, so they can get some of that money back. And you know, recently we had a bit of bad press about Facebook, but you know, it's not something that we haven't seen before. We had the Cambridge Analytica thing, and this has happened a few times to Facebook, and pretty much every single time is generated a great buying opportunity for the company. They have an excellent balance sheet. They trade significantly cheaper than some of their peers, such as Amazon and Google, and yet they're a fantastic company. It's going to continue to grow into the future. Especially with the runway that they have with Web3, which is going to be basically the new internet, which will be open source. They're doing a lot of work in that space, which will allow them to continue to be at the forefront of tech companies. So that's one that I'm doing a little bit of looking in now and seeing whether it's worth buying at this particular point. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps to get these videos out to more people. If you want to get yourself a free stock, I have a link to Stake in the description. So if you deposit money in the brokerage, you'll get yourself a free stock. And if you'd like to track your net worth, I also have a link to WeMoney. So that links up to all your accounts. It's very safe. It's all encrypted, so there's no way you're going to get hacked because it's read-only. But you can just track what your portfolio is doing, what your bank accounts are doing, your credit card debt, mortgages, things like that. Collates it all in the one place and gives you a figure so you can stay on track. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please make sure you like and subscribe. My name is Seeney, and we will see you later.